What the
I don't know
hell
what
is
you're
that thing? Wow. I think
Hey.
I'm joined by I can't believe that's real.
It's amazing.
Yes. Anybody out there joining us? You're probably not really gonna join us at all. You're probably just sitting there thinking, what in the world just happened to the visitors section? Tonight's show is brought to you by Evil Tim Teabow, I guess. Wow.
Yeah, incredible, huh?
I don't know if I should call you Mike or should call you Tim Teabow.
You can call me Yimothy Ebo, and I don't know if you've heard the incredible news out of Florida, but I'm going back to school, everybody. Going back to school.
Wow. What are you going to major in?
I was thinking religious science.
Religious science.
It's not a thing, but I'm going to say it is. So.
Okay. So, how you been?
I've been good. You know, it's been kind of a rough couple months, but I'm feeling good. I just got back from a speaking tour. I went in and built some schools in the Philippines. Something I do.
So you're not playing much quarterback, you're saying?
You know, that's the thing. I kind of was weighing my options, just trying to figure out whether or not it was something I wanted to do. You know, there's a lot of things I could be doing with my time. But after what I saw happen in Florida this week, I couldn't help but think that I need to go where I'm needed, and I'm clearly needed in Florida.
What happened in Florida?
I don't know. Their quarterback, he's gone now. And I can't help but think that's where I step in.
I think that's where your legacy was left, and that's probably where you need to reclaim it. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what to say.
Well, it's been great stopping by the visitor section. Just want to come and say hey. I know you guys talk about me a lot, and I appreciate it.
Well, it's kind of awkward because I talk so much shit about you. I don't know what to... It's all true. Everything I've said, it's all true. You're a great guy, I'm sure, off the field, but on the field, not so much. Not so much great.
Is this about how I took my shirt off?
Yeah. A lot about how you took your shirt off in the rain, of all things. Not because it was too hot. No. Because you didn't want to get a soaking wet shirt already soaking wet. Made no sense to take your shirt off at all.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah. There's that whole deal.
All right, well, it's been great. Coming to the visitor section. I hope that I can come back some other time after you see me starting in week 3 for the Florida Gators. Week 4, week 5, week 6. I've got 7 years of eligibility. Most people don't know that.
You have because you're such a great human being, and you probably have tons of years of eligibility due to your many charitable things that you've done, kind of like a Mormon, but not.
I don't want to comment on how I feel about those folks. Tim Teabow doesn't talk bad about people, but I do want to say that I have as much, if not more, eligibility than Chucky Keaton.
Okay.
He's been playing for the better part of a decade now. So.
Yeah. Any surprise words coming up for this year? Any premonitions from your best bud upstairs?
I think it's going to be a year that you're really going to sit down, focus on your goals. You're going to want to drink your milk. I don't know. Read the good book. Take the words to heart. Think about it. I can still play quarterback.
I don't think so.
I can still play quarterback.
I disagree. No, you can't. You should stop playing. You should even stop talking about it.
All right,
Brian.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's been real on the visitor section. Thanks again.
That was an interesting piece, Mike. Thanks for swinging that guest on. That was a very good pull. And that obviously took a lot of time and effort to put that thing together.
You know, a lot of people don't know this. Most of the guests that we've met have been through Twitter, just reaching out, telling folks like, "Hey, appreciate what you do. Really interested to talk to you." And it's incredible what you can do when you're really polite. You can get all kinds of folks to come talk to you. And Timothy Teabow is one that I've reached out to several times, and I was really excited that he could come on the show tonight.
That was not Tim Teabow, everybody.
I'm pretty sure that was Tim Teabow.
No, that was not Tim Teabow.
Pretty sure. He shook my hand when he walked out the door. I'm pretty sure this.
He didn't shake your hand. He caressed it and gave it a really nice, girly, those awkward handshakes where he doesn't really grip your hand. It's just more like just a touch. It's real awkward. I don't like those kinds of handshakes, especially when they're like, you see guys that you're expecting like a grip. You know what I mean? Like a real this dude's got to crunch my hand into a million pieces, and it's real dainty and soft and just kind of terrible. And then you just look at him completely different from there on out. Like you cannot even look at them the same because they're not even men at that point. They are something of complete and utter chaos. They are something that has now drifted off into My Little Ponies and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. It's really weird. It's Rainbow Bright. Can't handle all of that.
Glowworms.
Yeah, those were really weird.
I don't think that has anything to do with our show, but I definitely agree with you on that. I agree with you on that because I've not hired no fewer than 2 contractors because of weird handshakes.
Yeah, see, it all starts there. All started there.
Sorry, Johnny. My hand is not a wet paper towel. I'm good.
Yeah, that's always So last week, we've missed out on a lot. We've been a little bit of delayed due to some certain things, but let's just get off to the recent news. That's really not news. Josh Freeman benched for the neck. Josh Freeman benched for a glowworm on a piece of shoulders. That's what that was, Mike. Instant thoughts of how stupid and pointless this is?
Oh, is that a question for me?
Yeah, instant thoughts on how stupid and pointless. This is really not breaking news. Josh Freeman deserves to be the quarterback because that's just what they are.
I don't know, man. He's played pretty bad.
Yeah, but I mean, let's look at their last couple games. Was it all on him? Or was the Jets game his fault? I mean, did he go out on the field and push Geno in the back? Was that on him?
I can't help but feel like he definitely had a hand in it.
I understand you get all these free agents, you get all these major signings, some offensive linemen and V-Jacks, and of course you don't have a tight end at all. And then you get Goldson out there, you get Revis. You're expected to produce because you've been doing nothing. The Buccaneers organization has been cheating the people of Tampa Bay for so long out of their money that they finally put it back into the roster, and it's not performing well. They coach out of trailer homes. They have no facilities. They are the cheapest franchise in the history of the NFL. And then they get even cheaper with their head coach because I think he's terrible. I don't like Schiano at all. His shtick is terrible. I'm Tom Coughlin mixed in with Bill Belichick is just terrible. I don't like it. And I bet Revis is sitting there thinking, can I go back to where I was from?
Yeah, I think that point in particular is a good one because Revis, there's been those reports that he's not happy. Oh, no, it's cool. No, we talked about it. We're okay now. Revis.
Yeah, we heard these reports before. Go on.
Yeah, first of all, Revis has never been happy. He wasn't happy with the Jets. Really not happy with the Buccaneers, which kind of sounds like Keyshawn Johnson to me to a certain extent. So congratulations there, guys. But
Keyshawn Johnson doesn't have to answer to you.
You know, he doesn't have to answer to me. You're right. And he didn't he like take a swing at Bieber, so he gets some points there. But the problem is that the Bucks are terrible. The whole Josh Freeman thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was led to believe this guy had all the tools. He had an incredible arm. He was an incredible athlete.
Wait, time out. He threw for 4,000 just last year. And some double-digit touchdowns, obviously in the high 20s. I'm not. Let me just. I wanted to say, for some weird reason, I want to say 27, and I could be wrong. But let me double check or get Brian actually, who's get Brian. Could you please get off abcmouse.com? Get off of it. You're sucking down the bandwidth.
They got him an iPad and he hasn't put it down. I thought that he was like watching movies or something the other day, but no.
What? Brian got an iPad? Wait a minute. What is this? How did he get an iPad, Mike?
I don't know.
Who let that happen?
Apparently, the person who lets me
disgusting
be covered in trash every week. I
no wonder we can't buy anything.
Yeah, because Brian gets an iPad.
Yeah.
And they get
27 touchdowns for him, 4,000 yards. In 2010, 25 touchdowns. You know, he's looking like up and down all the time. Is it so much him, or is it just that terrible faux hawk he has? Or just the fact that, you know, maybe he doesn't want to play for them anymore?
Well, if he doesn't want to play for them...
Because, I mean, he lost his captain. Like, that matters. He was late to the team photo. Like that matters.
If you don't play well, you don't get to play quarterback. I mean, that's just how it is. Like any team, if you play poorly at quarterback, if your team does not win a lot of games, even the incredible Mark Sanchez can be benched. If Mark Sanchez can be benched, then no one's safe. But literally, 4,000 yards in today's NFL is just sort of like, that's like 250 a game, and that's a good amount of yards. I'm not going to say it's like a terrible amount of yards, but it's sort of like when people say, well, he's an incredible 1,000-yard rushers. I'm like, well, that's like 60 yards a game. It's the game's different than when
I just looked at Josh Freeman, the 2010 version on like Raheem Morris Bucks. They were terrible. That was a terrible team. And he did quite well, 25 touchdowns, 6 and I was like, this guy is probably going to be the next young, one of a better quarterback in the young crop. Then he had a 2011 season. You're just like, whatever. 2012, you're thinking he did pretty well. He did pretty well, and people still pointed out how terrible he was. And obviously, he's still terrible.
Well, it's weird. Like, you see those yards, you see those touchdowns. They lost a lot of games last year. Like,
they weren't 4-12, but they were definitely, what was that, 6-10? I want to say.
But that's the thing. Like, when you're losing games and you're playing from behind, you have to throw the ball. It's sort of like when you see those stats. Well, he had 50 attempts. There used to be a time when 50 attempts meant you lost the game. Period. You didn't control the clock. You were playing from behind. You were tossing it, just trying to catch up. So the fact that he has 4,000 yards is not as impressive. If they had, I don't know, 9 or 10
7 and 9
wins,
last year, by the way.
Yeah. If they had 10 wins last year, if they had even sniffed the playoffs, then yeah, I'm sure he's still there. But I think there's a lot of people, mostly myself, who really thought that Josh Freeman was going to be great because they saw him on ESPN2 doing the quarterback drills, throwing at the moving targets, and thinking, man, they just told me this guy has a cannon.
He's still young. Is he not?
They're all young. They're all young.
I feel like we put so much pressure on the young guys that, like, you look at Tony Romo, who spent some years in the underneath part of the team, the very bottom, and or like, let's take a look at Chad Pennington for, just for me and you sake. He spent some time on the bench. I feel like we thrust these guys out there and we're never allowing them to mature as people, let alone quarterbacks. And I understand, like, simply, like, you get 3 years, and then 3 years, and that's it. That's all you get to know. And I feel like sometimes, well, if you're just thrusted in that spot, you're really put in a bad spot if you're Josh Freeman. Either way, I feel like, the Jeff Hostetler's of the world, or, Brad Johnson's of the world, who won a Super Bowl, oddly, or Trent Dilfer's. I hate even saying those things because those are those people, and there's nobody else just like those. But what I'm saying is that I feel like we cut so many quarterbacks short that they can't. It's like to the point where we can't let them do anything else. You get what I'm saying?
No, and I get that. Like, there's basically two ways the NFL handles quarterbacks. They either throw them right in, or they get to sit and they get to develop, or they never get off the bench. I guess that's another way. If you're Brian Hoyer, then you just sit there, and then
And here's another thing. Like, everybody's like, "Oh, shocked that he did great." I'm not really that shocked because, first of all, the Vikings. I'm not buying any of that. I'm not buying any of that defense at all. Not buying it. So, 54 pass attempts. You keep beating that nail down, eventually it's going to hammer in. And Hoyer is been around the Brady regime and all those other regimes or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't buy the Hoyer shit. It's going to all come crashing down pretty soon for him. He's just a backup. That's it. That's his life. That's his career. He's like Brady Quinn +1.
Yeah, to get back to Freeman, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, if Freeman was David Carr and he came in and he sucked and he got beat up, Carr basically had his career cut short.
Yeah, look at Carr. Yeah.
Because he got like 44 sacks every year. He's lucky that he's still walking, let alone just enjoying life. Like, there was a reason that David Carr didn't become a good quarterback. But if Freeman had come in Week 10 and won a couple games his first year as a rookie, and then come into year 2 and was still kind of learning, and that's something that you can work with. Like, but it really has been like 3 full seasons. You had one kind of okay year.
Yeah.
You put up some decent numbers, but you
with
haven't.
a terrible team. That was a terrible team he did really good with.
You could argue that great quarterbacks make their team better. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what people will tell you. Like, if you look at Tom Brady's team right now, it's not very good. Like, I don't want to hear about how great the Patriots are, because that thing is held together with duct tape.
Hey, dude, they're 3-0. They're 3-0. What do you know about that? Yeah, because it's hard playing one of the easiest schedules year in and year out with shitty rosters. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's that, and I mean, think about those last couple of years with Peyton Manning. Like, you had not a Marvin Harrison because he was not there, but you had a Reggie Wayne, or you had a Dwight Freeney, or you had a Robert Mathis, and who else did you have? That was it. I mean, there were role players like Dallas Clark and stuff like that, but that roster was incredibly thin, mostly because Peyton Manning got like 96% of the budget. Like, they're just like, all the money goes to Peyton. We found these guys on the street.
What I think is hilarious is the year they won the Super Bowl, their defense was ranked dead last.
Yeah,
they went in to the playoffs, then their defense came alive.
Yeah, but that was just
up Bob Sanders.
Yeah, that was timing. That was luck. That had to be
one
of the
luck.
worst teams he played with. Yeah, it was incredible. But if, like I say, with Josh Freeman, I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to come back and
you don't think he
get
goes
on
to
a team
the
and
Cardinals?
develop into the guy.
Because Palmer's working out for the Cardinals. Palmer's not. That's a terrible situation too.
I hate to say this, but when a quarterback is dead, he's dead. Like,
he's dead. Leave him
the most
alone.
part, I'd say 99%. Yeah, leave them alone. 99% of the time, they're not going to go out there. They're not going to reinvent themselves.
Okay, so let's take that and move it to California, Jacksonville boy, Cali with the hair. Not Henny, the other guy.
Blaine Gabbert?
Gabbert, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Gabbert
Blaine
is a tire
is not.
fire. He's been one since he got in the league.
So you're, but here I am trying to make an argument for Freeman. I guess it's I can't do that for Gabbert. I can't do it. I can't do it for Gabbert. It's not gonna happen. But according to the analytics, according to those stat guys, all Gabbert needed was a left tackle, and Luke Jokel is not. It's on the right side, and Eugene Monroe is on the left. And that was supposed to buy him some more time so he can throw the ball. But really haven't had that much chunk of data, really. He's taken back over from Chad Henne. that mattered. Like it matters anymore for that squad.
That's an organization. Like, if you look at the Browns, they're trying to lose. If you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars...
that's a great transition to, we didn't talk about the trade. I remember sending you the text. You said, how can that even be possible? And I said, well, it did for a first-round pick. Trent Richardson leaving. I know we're a little bit behind on it, but, I mean, it's not really a bad trade, but at the same time, whatever. I mean, I'm just like, I don't know what to say to this trade.
Well, I mean, if you're the Colts... that's a good pickup, man. You needed someone who could get in the end zone. When Andrew Luck is your red zone threat when it comes to running on the ball, yeah, you need a running back. They got probably the best available running back that they could get for that pick. If you're a Colts fan, if you actually like Jim Irsay, then you have to pat him on the back.
So you're saying that Trent Richardson's the best running back of the 2014 class?
What I'm saying is,
can you look at it like that?
I would say for the type of running back that they wanted to pick up, they got exactly the right one at the right price. Like, he's a first rounder. He's not 29 years old.
I get the feeling that first round picks don't even matter anymore. Like, screw it, whatever.
I mean, if you
back
go
when
back,
the day when the second round pick was like pure gold, it was like, we can't give up a second round for T.O. We can't do that.
Yeah, well, you still see that. Like, I don't know if Antoine Bolden is worth a 6th-round pick. I really like my 6th-round pick.
Exactly. Like, I don't know, man. They obviously won that one game for that six-round pick versus the Green Bay Packers defense, which was so hard.
Well, anyway. if they hadn't, then they would have drafted some guy that wouldn't have made the squad. Or if he had, he would be living on the practice squad for 2 years, and then he'd be gone out of the league. So it's sort of like, if I don't understand that. Like, there's a point system. If anybody's been around the NFL draft, they actually assign points to each draft pick in each round, and they say, this pick is worth 2,500 points, and I'm not going to trade it unless I get 2,500 points worth of value or whatever.
Right.
But for me, if you have a hole, and there's an established player, not like a player on the mend or a player with question marks, but like an established player at a position you need, why are we having this conversation at all? Like, why don't you just give him the 6th-round pick? Like, just take it, please. Just whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, and really, you're like renting a guy for a 6th-round pick that you probably wasn't going to work out anyway. But to be fair, I think that the Browns and Mike Lombardi are really excited about all the blue chips and the red chips. And
I thought it was interesting. Like, so Josh Gordon, the wide receiver, goes off. I mean, he has a great game, and then the next day, it's I feel like the media was like, they're just going to trade him. Then all of a sudden, the rumor starts picking up speed, and then they had to come out and say, Josh Gordon said that the coach went up to him, Chudzinski, and said, "No, we're not going to trade you." I mean, sometimes the media is crazy. Like, let's take Colin Kaepernick. Somebody was like, some reporter made suggestion that he's favoriting or liking, I don't know what the fuck, favoriting negative tweets toward him, and said, do you use that as fuel to fire you? And he's like, yeah, I guess you can say that. Then the next headline is, Colin Kaepernick takes negative Twitter comments and fuels his system with this integrated with Gatorade and all this crazy shit. And I just think it's ridiculous and dumb how we go to these links. Colin Kaepernick right now has probably got other things on his mind, like, how the hell do I throw the ball anymore? Because I can't throw to bums. I can't throw to bums on the playing wide receiver. Kyle Williams. Can't have Vernon Davis out. I mean, all the Colts had to do was say, we got Anquan Bolden. That's it. We got Anquan Bolden. You guys can figure it out. Who wants to play? They're like, oh, what about Quentin Patton? Yeah, just like you using him like you did A.J. Jenkins. That worked out really well. They should just stop it.
It's weird because I thought the 49ers were supposed to be like the number 2 team in the league. I thought it was supposed to be the Seahawks are the best team in the league, and the 49ers are right behind them. And I didn't even get an argument. I got in one of those conversations where I clearly didn't know what I was talking about. And some
it's
guy
like our show. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was just about football. It wasn't a big deal. But some guy goes, man, the 49ers are terrible. They're a terrible team. And I was like, I thought they were pretty good. They're not. It's week 4, and they haven't won all of their games.
Well, I mean, let's just put it like this, man. Andrew Luck only threw 164 yards, and they whooped their ass 27-7. It was like one of these just straight ass whoopings in your own house.
There were people all over Twitter all week long before that game going, if anyone is picking the Colts to win this game, they just need to put their homer card up and get back in the closet. And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the NFL. Like, people do this every week. Like,
yeah.
Of course the Colts could win that game. And I just sat down, I looked at my little Twitter, it was like, oh, it's on my phone again. And I watched people freak out, like, the whole game. And I was like,
it's quite entertaining to watch people be prisoners of the moment. Time and time again, it's quite entertaining. That's more entertaining than seeing the homers just get upset about when you say something bad about the backup tight end or the water boy, for that matter. There's 3 types of fans. There's the I hate, so the first fan is I'm the homer, just obliged, like he's a homer to a fault, like don't talk shit about the backup tight end, don't talk shit about the third string quarterback. Their team can do no wrong at it, and he's always got excuses after excuse. Then there's the complete opposite of that, as soon as the ball's kicked off, well, we lost, fuck it, we're done, we lost, we're playing like shit as soon as the ball's kicked. That's that type of fan. I call them masochistic or maybe something of that. And then there's the middle of the road. There's the middle of the road guys that are like, they're real. They're realistic. You can actually have a conversation with them. You can sit there and say, your fucking quarterback is terrible. And they're like, yeah, you're right.
Well, there's also the imaginary fan, and luckily for them, they don't have feelings either way.
Yeah,
because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fantasy leagues in which they're doing okay. They're doing okay.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Conflicts of interest everywhere.
It's just a decision every week. Yeah. Who do I go with? Luckily, it's not. It's really not hard for them because they have no actual feelings. So,
that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, but I think. For me, I like to think that I fall somewhere in between that scale of my team can do no wrong. Oh God, they are the worst team ever. Like that's probably the far end and the far end of both.
Mike, we both know that our team can do wrong, and they do wrong a lot of the times.
Well, it just depends who we're talking about.
So much wrong that we had like a league history-making deal of how many penalties we could get in one game. It's like ridiculous. We should have just here, Bills, take the game. We do not want this game. We don't want it. Take it. And they couldn't because they're the fucking Bills. They couldn't even take the Super Bowl. It was handed to them right there. Here, take the Super Bowl. You want one of these, don't you? Take one. You get 4. Just take one of them. You can't. You can't do it.
Bills, it's really up to you. I'm gonna put my hands up like this, and all you have to do is kick the ball through my hands. I'll give you a Super Bowl trophy. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if Christian Ponder becomes a good quarterback, if he wins this year, are you gonna get off his back? That's a question that just blew in through Twitter. Are you gonna get off his back, Josh?
No. Dude, Christian Ponder. He pisses me off because he doesn't he wants to take it himself instead of give it to athletes that are probably 10,000 times better than him. They could probably do it faster and better than him. Except no, he wants to take it down and run it around. Look at me, I'm RG3. Woo!
Yeah.
Hey Percy, I watched this. This is stupid. I'll just pass up Peterson. Screw him. Don't need that guy. We just paid for this Jennings, this Craig Jennings. We don't need him. All we need is Ponder.
Christian Ponder.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget what a dual threat quarterback he is.
Oh yeah, he's real dual.
Yeah, he'll kill you on the ground, clearly.
Yeah. Because everybody else is covered.
Yeah, and when people come up, towards the end of the game when he's already scored 2 touchdowns. So what you'll see is the linebackers start to come up, and he'll just pop it right over the head. Another 200 yards of passing.
That's because that's all he can do.
Like 2 hands.
I wonder if Ponder and Alex Smith hang out and say, I bet you they have like competitions of how less they can throw it. I bet you I could only throw it 3 yards. Oh yeah, I got you beat. Only 2.5. They were like incompetent with the arm. Yet Alex Smith wins. That's all he does. Sounds familiar.
I saw a game with Christian Ponder the other day where he like drove. It was like not really a drive down the field. It was like, we're gonna give you 6 or 7 chances, and we're gonna go ahead. And then he's like, no, I can't do it. And they're like, just take 15 yards. Just go on. Just go take 15. Like, all right. And then he would get down there, and it was like 5 seconds left. You're down by 4. All you got to do is throw it in the end zone. And then it was just like, oh, I just feel like falling over. Just it's done. It's like, God, how does this guy
I feel like
keep
falling
his job?
over sounds familiar. It sounds like the New York Giants. I just want to fall over and be embarrassed. Probably, everybody's attention was like, the Jets are the circus. The Jets are the worst team in the history of teams. Blah 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 blah. And here's the Giants. Like, I don't know. They're being the Giants, I guess. They're gonna be bipolar. Watch, they're gonna rip off 3 in a row right now. 3 wins, tie it up. They're gonna have 3 wins back to back to back. They're at 3-3, and everybody's like, "Damn, here comes those Giants." Then they're gonna go for a 3-game skid again. It's up and down, left, right. I don't even know what the hell to even think about that team anymore.
Week 17, Giants, Dallas, each 8-7. Who makes the playoffs? Who wins the NFC East?
Who wants this NFC East? It can't be the Eagles because they like to hurry up and lose the game. And it can't be the Redskins because they're too busy trying to help RG3 figure out his knee or which defense they want to play, because that is a terrible, terrible defense being played on their behalf.
We just got another text to the show. If you guys would ever like to text us, you can hit us up at visitorsection.com. That's not an option on there, and I haven't updated that page for months. But if you'd like to do that, you can do that. The question is,
Water bottles.
Who wins the NFC East? If all teams go 8-7 into the final week of the season,
I don't think that's mathematically possible. Considering they all have to split the games. They all have to split the games.
What if it was 8-4-4?
Oh, Jesus.
He also texted that, and he said, go Cowboys.
Yeah, the only team out of that, it's to me, maybe the Eagles pull it together. I don't know. The Cowboys have I say this every year. Like, it all depends on their offensive line, and it all depends on how they feel like playing that day. Because at times you're thinking, damn, Dez Bryant, DeMarco Murray rushes for a billion yards against the shitty Rams again. He just loves beating up on them Rams. And, they're all clicking, and that's what you get. You get a hard-nosed defense. But then you get the Dallas Cowboys that plays the Chiefs. And you're like, what are you doing? We've only ran 3 times. What's going on? It's like, which Dallas team do they want to be? And it all really depends on their offensive line and how they're going to do it. So, but I think Dallas is the favorite.
Can I just interject something real quick while we're talking about the NFC?
Go ahead. Stick a big old interjection in there.
This is something I talk about every year. I just want to go ahead and get it out there. So when I get to say it every week until the end of the season, you'll be prepared. You'll be ready. You can put it down in your notes. You can keep it in front of you while you're watching and listening to the show. The NFC East is terrible. I don't want to hear about how they're a good conference. I don't want to hear about how they are the toughest conference, how it is the most competitive conference. They're all terrible. If everybody is terrible in the same conference, they're just terrible. They don't magically become good. They're not better because of it. Like, oh, the Redskins and the Cowboys are so tough. They just play each other so tough. Well, no, they're just bad, man. They're just bad. So write it down. Keep it in front of you. When all these teams somehow go 8-8, and we have to talk about it, and when it comes time for playoffs,
Well, it reminds me of remember when the NFC West was so bad that the losing record went to the playoffs.
Seahawks, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, but they had, it's one of those. Is the NFC East the NFC West of its day?
No,
No.
The NFC East has been bad for 5 years, 6 years. Like it's not good.
You can't
like,
say that when a Super Bowl two times Super Bowl in those years you mentioned.
Anybody can win a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Tell me, what two teams from the NFC East won the Super Bowl in the last 5 years?
Giants was the only two.
Yeah, they're not a real team.
They're not. They are
clearly.
Yeah,
they played the Panthers. They lost
stick
by
figures. Yeah.
I heard that they lost so bad that they're not going to play the rest of their games. Tom Coughlin has actually killed the entire team.
Man, don't they always go through this? Like, fire the coach, get rid of the quarterback, and they are always on the brink of totally annihilating that team, and then they go ahead and totally redeem themselves.
Yeah, they squeak into the playoffs, 8-8.
Yeah, then they put it all together.
They go through the wild card. And
all right, Mike, let's talk about the Dolphins beating the Falcons at home. Dolphins are 3-0. Need I remind people that last year there was a team, I just can't remember, they were 4-0. They beat New England. They went into New England and they beat them. They were 4-0, and they didn't win a single game after that. What was that team?
Not the Super Bowl champions.
I think it was the team they had Kevin Cobb. No, it was Arizona Cardinals. Are they exactly the same? Hell no. Did they both have really good defenses? I think the Dolphins' defense is really underrated. Pretty good. And they had an injury in that game, Cameron Wake. But they're playing pretty good. And I'll give them their due. That's for sure. It's pretty hard when you free agent a team together. And but early in the season, this is what happens. Everybody believes, everybody buys in. And then all of a sudden, like as the season grinds on, they'll probably lose a game or two. They're going to realize we're not that good. And then all of a sudden the world comes crashing down. And then the really good teams start to mature and the cream rises to the top.
Which brings me to my next question.
I
got two questions. It's a two-part question.
Is Matt Ryan clutch?
No, that's clearly
I hate those questions.
Clearly he's not. He's not clutch until he is, and then he's clutch, and he's an elite, and then he's whatever. It's just like everything.
By the way, I hate that word, clutch.
I hate elite. I hate blue chips. I hate red chips. I hate Mike Lombardi.
Okay.
So, who is better? We're gonna play. This is gonna be a two-part question.
Okay.
First, we're gonna go historical. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. Who's better?
Oh my God, Eli Manning. Phillip Rivers pisses me off, dude. Like when I watch him yell at the refs, I want the refs to knock his shit out. Because he's like, no, I don't get to go, but I don't go to jail. I get to go past jail, get the whole free spin, and then get past go and get 200.
I'm gonna go from go. I'm gonna go all the way around the jail. You're gonna give me all the railroads.
I get community and chance, but it can't be a bad chance.
Not a bad chance. Or I put it back and I take another one.
That's right.
I'm keeping the railroads. Those are mine now. I'm Phillip Rivers.
I just think Phillip Rivers is he was good for a time being, but he's no boy did they mess up not keep Drew Brees. Woo!
Were you about to say he's no Eli Manning?
He's no Eli Manning.
I think they're the same player.
You do?
I don't think they're any better.
I mean, there's something about Eli that I don't know if it's just that he doesn't cry to the referees or that he just has this blank stare and oh man, come on, man, come on.
No. Okay, so the second part of this question: who is better?
What?
Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
Some other guy.
Matt
Some
Schaub?
other guy. No, who plays for the Tennessee Titans named Jake Locker.
Jake Locker. Yeah, Tannehill. Jake Locker, man. I don't know how the hell they won that game this past weekend. That was a miracle.
I had to hear.
It was a terrible game. It was against the Chargers. It was terrible.
Well, I mean, he was going against elite quarterback in Phillip Rivers.
Elite quarterback.
It
took into the 40 seconds or some crazy shit. Took him down the length of the field because the Chargers can't play defense.
I think what it really came down to, and a lot of people weren't aware of this. It came out in the news recently in the week. Like I think it was Tuesday. I saw it. What you basically had was, I don't want to call it a prayer circle because that doesn't quite put it in perspective. But the entire city of Seattle sat down, held hands, and prayed for the son of Seattle, Jake Locker, to finally win a game, to live up to all that Husky hype, and he did. He was incredible. He won a game. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You won a game and you didn't get hurt. You didn't get hurt.
Remember when that guy was going to be a top 5 pick, when he was going to be the first quarterback off the board?
Let's come full circle. How the hell does he always get excuses, but Josh Freeman doesn't? Who's better, Josh Freeman or Jake Locker?
I'll tell you why. Jake Locker. Josh Freeman was not a top pick. Like, he was like, what, a 4th rounder, something like that? I had to watch him on like ESPN2 go through a skills challenge with like Derek Anderson or something. I mean, real football picks don't have to do that kind of stuff. Guys who kind of don't know where they're going to go in the draft, those are the folks who are on ESPN2 doing this junk.
Okay.
Jake Locker was supposed to be a top 5 pick, and then when he did get drafted, everybody felt like the Titans reached up to get him. I don't understand
that whole draft. Everybody reached up to get their prospective player.
Well,
we all reached up.
When I look at Josh Freeman, I look at, I'm disappointed because I thought he would be better, but he's not really disappointing where he went in the draft. It just is what it is. When Jake Locker plays bad, I'm a little frustrated because I thought this guy was supposed to be really good, and he's just not.
I like Tannehill better than him, for sure. Tannehill, I think what's nice about Tannehill is, nobody had expectations for him with the Dolphins. You know what I mean? They're really low. They're really low expectations. There's not a whole lot of pressure. I mean, it's not like he's gonna be Marino, and it's been long enough to let that whole bullshit pass, right? Mm-hmm. So there's he doesn't have to be Marino. He's better than what we had, Chad Henne and all those Jay Fiedlers.
I was about to ask you, is he better than Jay Fiedler? I don't think he is.
Yeah, he is better than Jay Fiedler. Fiedler, come on! Jay Fiedler? Ears? Oh, God, that man.
He could hear the pressure
Jets.
coming. Yeah, and I loved him with the Jets.
Where's Kellen Clemens at? Where's he at?
Somewhere.
Anyway, I think Tannehill has got a nice situation. He's got weapons, and
could you imagine if Jay Fiedler played with that team?
No, everybody would laugh at him because it wouldn't match. Pure body size, he just doesn't match up with them. At least Tannehill's somewhat of a damn athlete.
I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yo, you're not.
I'm texting Brian. Hey, God, get off the mouse, man.
I'm telling you right now, dude. No.
I'm gonna. He's only 41.
What do you mean he's gonna prove me wrong? What, that he's 5'11" or something?
6'2".
His ear. Okay, 6'2" at the ears.
225.
225. He's no Lucas. He's no rude Lucas, Mike.
I feel a little bit conflicted, but think about it for a second, right? Think about it.
You miss Lucas, don't you?
I do a little bit.
Yeah.
He went in 2000, 10-5 with the Miami Dolphins.
You had Ricky. Come on, man.
In 2001, he went 11-5.
Where did they go in the playoffs, though?
60% completions, 3,290 yards.
Which is nothing. Nothing anymore. That's nothing.
In 2001, There were no quarterbacks in the league that were throwing the ball.
That is bullshit.
There's no quarterbacks in the league in 2001 that could throw a ball. Like a forward pass, it blew people's mind. And people forget that about Jay Fields.
Come on. There was Tom Brady in 2001, Drew Bledsoe, a guy named Kurt Warner.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah. You do. What do you think about the Chiefs? They're 3-0. You think they what do you think about them? You think they're pretty good? I do.
Yeah, okay, these are still the Chiefs, right?
Yes,
It's
still Alex Smith.
This is still that team that plays in Kansas City, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you think they're going to beat the Broncos?
Well, they don't have Brady Quinn, and I think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I think they're going to have to attempt to throw the ball downfield.
That we've done this show for like several years now.
Yeah, more years than people know.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, people, we've been doing this show a lot longer than you realize.
Yeah, we may not appear to be any good at it, but we've been doing it a long time.
But yeah, we've been doing it a long time.
But you're right. I think going back and thinking about things we'd said in the past that I'm going to stay next to and try to hold to, and for like those 9 people who hold me accountable for stuff like this. If you're the Chiefs, you should have won a lot of games a long time ago. Like, you've had a lot of really good high draft picks, and they've either got hurt, or you didn't use them right, or they didn't pan out, or like whatever.
Think about their coaches. Think about their quarterbacks.
There's
think
people
about that. Damian Heward. This one guy, Colin Cowherd wannabe, was coming at me on Twitter the other day. Talking about Dwayne Bowe or something, and I don't want to hear that shit. I mean, you had fucking Cornell, and who else was there? Who else was their head coach? Oh, Herm Edwards.
I was about to say
started that. Herm and Cornell and some bum with a jacket. Oh, Todd Haley. Yeah, Todd Haley. Yeah, that's a really rock solid coach there. I don't know. Think about their quarterbacks. Quinn, fucking Palco. Palco was a quarterback.
Which was
Damian
incredible.
Heward. Just some real shitty quarterbacks.
I didn't think, you're right. When Palco was a quarterback, that probably was an all-time low. I mean, he was coming straight out of the replacements.
What about that one kid from Alabama, too? Brody Croyle, for crying out loud, played quarterback. These guys aren't even in the league anymore. Anyway.
If they had been able to pull off that trade, instead of trying to pick up a Montana or trying to pick up, an established guy, if they had just gone out, secured the rights to Jay Fielder, this thing would have gone so much better in Kansas City.
Okay, so they get all these high draft picks. How come they didn't get a quarterback? Not one?
Because apparently there were defensive tackles available.
Dude, Poe is definitely worth it now.
Well, now he is, but
yeah, and then you got Holly coming on. Houston, his defense is sick.
Man, just imagine if they could get Glenn Dorsey. What a good team they would be.
That didn't work out.
No, it didn't work out. And I don't know. The Kansas City Chiefs are a bad team. There's teams that are bad who do okay for a year or two, and then they just go back to they regress to the norm. They go back to being a bad team, a bad franchise.
I think they have a pretty good squad.
Yeah, they have incredible talent there.
Jamal Charles, and you got Dwayne Bowe, you got Donnie Avery, the ageless Donnie Avery.
Play till I die.
And then, they just rotate whoever they want at tight end. It really doesn't matter.
They don't like horses there.
And so I just think it's interesting. I think the game against the Broncos, when that comes, will be an interesting one. Everybody's already crowning the Broncos as Super Bowl favorites. It's going to be one of those. Yeah, they'll probably go 12-4, maybe even 14-2, and then something will happen where they implode, or I don't know, let a wide receiver run right past the safety, and he's deep and catches it and runs to the end zone, and they're sitting at home. And they're like, how did he do it? How did they lose?
He's too fast. He's too fast. Yeah, no, I think that the Broncos are built like this dude I play fantasy with. he drafted all the established names who were all like 35 years old.
A redraft. This is going to be great.
Yeah, so we're gonna get some fantasy draft in there. So
Yeah.
so he has a Manning, he has a Wes Welker, so basically he drafted the Denver Broncos. Eric Decker. But the thing is, the guys who
And then cross your fingers and hope they all work out.
And that's the thing, like week, I don't know, 9 or 10, or as soon as it gets cold in Denver, and in the field, it becomes this fine layer of ice and rock. It's weird. It's weird how it doesn't feel good when you get tackled and smashed on it. And I've been saying this since it happened. I'm surprised that Peyton Manning is playing football. I don't know if he's going to make the season. I just don't see it happening. I don't know how he's doing it right now. I don't know how he throws 7 touchdowns.
He's strong like bull.
He's not. He's not. It's smoke and mirrors, Josh.
Yeah. The game I'm looking forward to this week, Atlanta and Patriots, because I think the Patriots get blown the hell out. That's what I think happens. I think the Patriots get blown out. They're going to play in Atlanta. Atlanta's coming off a game they probably should have won. Patriots are a bunch of smoke and mirrors team, and for some weird reason, Atlanta has been too, with their whole Steven Jackson, Roddy White injuries. It's weird. So that's where their lineage is from. So I think the Falcons blow the doors off the Patriots and expose them for what their team really is. It's not very good.
I don't know if the Falcons are any good.
I think the Redskins, they're pretty good. The Redskins play the Raiders. They'll probably get their first win out of that ordeal. I mean, do you believe this bullshit of people talking about benching Robert Griffin III? It don't even start with that. Who came up with that question? They should be punched in the throat several times until they bleed.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I know who came up with the question, and I know who answered it. Dr. James Andrews.
This is probably a really true story.
Yeah, he turned to himself and he asked, and then he said.
And then he said.
And then he just got real close to RG3 and he just gave him a big hug and he said, "Hey baby, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna let you sit down and get some rest because your leg doesn't work anymore." And you know how I told everybody you were this super big threat at throwing the ball. Well, you can't plant your leg anymore. So just lay down, baby. Just lay down.
Just lay down, take this pill, and go to sleep.
Yeah, just go to sleep. It's gonna be quick, baby. It's
gonna be good. So, another game I'm interested in is the Seahawks go down to the Texans. And when the Seahawks leave Sea-Link Stadium, the Link, they become normal. They can barely win games. Not because they have to travel to the East Coast. It's just all of a sudden they just don't do well outside of that stadium. And the Texans are, reeling off of an embarrassing, kick in the teeth by the Ravens, who doesn't have any offense at all. They just don't. Mm-hmm. And I think the Ravens beat them with special teams, and that's always good. And defense.
How come I hate Brian Cushing so much? Is it the steroids?
Is it the steroids? I think it's the USC thing. That's probably what it is.
When I hear that, he's coming off an ACL injury, and I can't go, I kind of think he probably had that because of the steroids. Like, no one cares. No one cares. No. He's incredible. He's great. I was surprised how badly the Texans looked in that game, how poorly they played. Andre Johnson is clearly not healthy.
Yeah.
But
as
far as
reason they decide to go get Ed Reed, who's not, probably past his prime.
Man, I wish I could just look like a homeless man on the side of a football, like hey,
I'll
Mike,
play safety.
I want you to, I want you to stop shaving. I want you not to bathe. We're gonna put you in a uniform. Don't put your helmet on. Just walk around, and we're gonna pay you $5 million this year. How does that sound? If you want, you can go out there and you can make 4 tackles. And, basically that's kind of why we have practice squad guys. But they don't look crazy. They don't look like crazy like you do. So Ed Reed, congratulations. I'm glad you got to play football. You got 4 tackles. They were really not impressive tackles. Those kind of sad tackles where someone just kind of goes, I'm tired of running. I just fall over.
You know what's cool? Bum fights. You know what's cool? NFL bum fights. We got the Vikings. We got the Vikings and the Steelers. Ed 2 Reed bums. The Vikings and the Steelers going at each other like two Ed Reeds bumping Pringle cans. I don't know who wins. Who cares? Like, I don't really care for you. Vikings win the game.
Well, they've got the dual threat. Christian Ponder.
The dual threat.
Tearing it up.
The dual threat and Christian Ponder.
I'm saying right now, Vikings by 14. Take it to Vegas.
Wow. You know, the Vikings have been in the games they've lost. The Steelers haven't. Not even close.
Mm-mm.
No, not looking. Just looking at the landscape of games. Lions, Bears, interesting. Bengals, Browns, don't care. Ravens, Bills, no thanks. Jets, Titans, both 2-1. Who would have guessed that?
What an incredible game. What an incredible game. I know everybody's going to be glued.
Yes, everybody will be sucked in on that defensive matchup battle they're going to have. That game's going to be like 6-3.
You got two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks in Geno Smith, Jake Locker.
Dude, Geno, can he get some credit from you?
Do
you like him?
I don't like him.
Do you still think you don't like him still? It's just the way he looks, right?
It's the dead
he
eyes.
Has no emotion.
It's the dead eyes, dude. That's what I don't like.
He does have some dead eyes, man. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy, but I enjoy those dead eyes.
All right, as long as he's throwing touchdowns and not turning the ball over.
Like when you watch him, you're like, he'll make some throws. You're like, damn, that looks great. And then you see another one, you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, his timing is not good. And
it makes me think, like, is it him or is it their wide receiver that didn't do something?
I think it's him. I think that it's possible.
I think it's cute that Mark Sanchez sits around, like walks around on the sideline. I think it's funny. Like, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back. I won that battle. I won that. Like, even when he comes back, you think he's going to take the job over? Hell no. What do you think, Brian? No, I didn't think so.
Even Brian's like, ABC Mouth told me that Mark Sanchez isn't coming back.
Yeah.
He's done. No, I think that, unfortunately, Mark Sanchez will be back in week number 9.
God.
The entire Jets organization reeling from the fact that Geno Smith was hit by a truck on week 5. Week 5! I pushed it back a week. So.
Okay.
Are they playing week 5?
I don't know yet.
If you're Nate Burleson, how do you feel right now?
Oh,
that just came in too.
Yeah, he broke his arm in a car wreck. Pizza delivery's hard.
It is. It's a dangerous sport.
I mean, it's so dangerous that people go outside of their own homes and do it themselves. It's not recommended. Go ahead and get that delivery. Pay that extra, $2? Just go ahead and give them that tip because they are putting their lives in danger when they go out. And if you haven't learned a lesson, just take a lesson from Nate Burleson. This could hurt you. Pizza delivery is not a joke.
It's not.
It's not a joke.
You know, I think that if Congress wasn't shutting down because of this whole Obama thing,
right.
They should be looking into DiGiorno's. Like that thing.
By
is
the
a
way,
scam.
Jets play the Falcons.
Week 5.
Thanks, Brian. You're like an hour late on that one.
Yeah, well, at least he's doing
this straight. Let me get this straight.
Sure
Falcons play Sunday night, and then they get to play next Monday night? The fuck is that? Okay. Dude, okay, Thursday night games make me want to do heroin and go to sleep.
I can't handle Thursday night games anymore. I'm too old. Like, how do people do this?
Flip a coin between the 49ers Rams, Mike. Who you got? Bum fights.
Ed Reavers.
Okay.
That's my pick, everybody.
Sneeze. Wipe that off for the ticket there. Turn it in.
All right. Yeah, let's play us out or something, because
there's no playing out. Brian has yet to figure that out, and as soon as we get it, we'll let you know. Thanks for watching us again. Please feel free to get at us at Twitter. I'm at Josh_Hastings. He's at Visitors Section, and I'm sure his own personal one, but he doesn't have time for it. What else, Mike? You don't want to do the... I want to thank special guest, Upside Down Face, Timothy Richard Teabow.
What happened to my eyes? Oh.
That's going to do it for us tonight. Please feel free to like our show, follow our YouTube channel. What else, Mike? I feel like I'm always missing shit. Brian will skewer me later. Any special shout-outs? We need to bring those back. Billy boy, we hear you.
We're thinking about you, bro.
Thanks for everybody that's been promoting the shit out of the show. It's been awesome. And if you haven't, well, you suck.
It's fine.
All right. See ya.